This is, without a doubt, the most detailed and complicated cosplay group I have ever been a part of. Hello everyone! Today I'm going to be taking all of you back in time with me to last spring to when I participated in an amazing Mermaid Melody cosplay group photo shoot. First of all, what is Mermaid Melody? Mermaid Melody Pitchi is a manga and anime series which was first published in 2002. The series follows Lucia, a mermaid who is a princess of the North Pacific Ocean, aka my local ocean, as she navigates being in love with a human boy, going to middle school, preventing a demon harem from taking over the oceans, and gathering the 6 other mermaid princesses to bring back the legendary goddess Aqua, Regina. And all of our mermaid princesses are also pop stars. For many people in my age range, Mermaid Melody was one of the first shows that we watched entirely online. Having never received an official English dub, many of us learned the art of watching anime episodes in 3 parts on YouTube via Mermaid Melody. Having already been introduced to other colorful and adorable magical girl shows such as Tokyo Mew Mew and Sailor Moon, it's no wonder a lot of us had a complete magnetic attraction to this adorable and goofy show. It had cute outfits, it had cute characters, and of course, I love mermaids. So back in May of 2023, Ellie Eberts, cosplay extraordinaire, shared her idea of doing a Mermaid Melody group cosplay photo shoot, and of course, I had to be involved. The plan was to do a weekend-long cosplay photo shoot, including both the pop star outfit and mermaid looks, and having a full cast of mermaids. Full rainbow of mermaid. While I've done a number of cosplays over the years, I've never had the chance to be involved in a project of this scale before. Fish pun. And I haven't really ever made a cosplay that wasn't either for a convention or for a video or stream. So I was really excited and a little bit nervous to join in, and luckily enough, I was also able to pick my favorite character to cosplay as, who is Regina, the green mermaid, and she's just really cool and I really like her. She's like who I wish I was. I wish I was like cool, calm, confident babe, but in reality, I'm like, nah. I've never done a cosplay of this scale or a photo shoot of this scale before, so I really wanted to be able to take all of you along with me to show you a bit about what it's like to do one of these big cosplay photo shoots. I will also say this not only was a very fun project for me, but also admittedly was very nerve-wracking. I faced a lot of personal fears while working on this project, and I do want to talk about those challenges, but I am going to save them for the very end of the video because I know not everybody will want to hear my woe is me moments, but for the time being, let's hop into the photo shoot. Like I was saying earlier, I haven't really ever done a dedicated cosplay photo shoot like this before. When I was in high school, my friends and I would sometimes get into our cosplays and have our parents drive us to and drop us off at various locations around our city to make cosplay music videos, but we were obviously pretty limited by budget and cars and time in those cases, but now I have a job and a car and time and money to spend, baby. So it was really cool to get to not have to worry about all of those little things. And even better is one of my best friends and fellow cosplayer, Callie, decided to join in. She dressed as Karen. So not only did we get to work on our cosplays together leading up to the photo shoot, but we also drove down to the shoot together. So Friday morning, I picked Callie up and we headed down together. We made a quick stop at Dutch Bros to get some caffeine. This is such like a Callie and I tradition. If we're ever heading south of Seattle, we're like, we gotta stop at Dutch Bros. We gotta get our overly caffeinated beverages. We decided to take Highway 101, which is along the coast. Now, would it have probably been a lot quicker for us to take I-5? Yes. Probably, but I really wanted to get to enjoy some of the aesthetics of the drive, and it was gorgeous. Honestly, I highly recommend, if you have a little extra time, go ahead and do the drive down the coast. It is gorgeous. And then we arrived at our Airbnb. Very nice. And now I had already seen photos ahead of time, but seeing it in person, this was a gorgeous house. It was on the coast, like basically right on the beach. It had 4 proper like bedrooms and then one other room that had 4 bunk beds in it. And I volunteered to be in the bunk bed room because thankfully I have a vast amount of experience sleeping in rooms with a lot of bunk beds from being a camp counselor. So I was like, I'll happily be there. Those of us who got there early basically got in, put our stuff down, and then pretty much immediately started getting into our cosplay. This weekend was a very packed schedule of photo shoots, and on the first afternoon, we really wanted to get some shots of the main trio. One of the really adorable things that the 2 kind of like leaders of the photo shoot did is they had actually 3D printed a lot of the accessories for the characters, like our power bracelet and my microphone. And so they actually put together little gift bags for all of us. I wish I got better footage of this, but it had all of our 3D printed items in it, our little necklaces in it. I think mine also had my earrings, as well as some other goodies. Like I think they had a bath bomb and a keychain that was Mermaid Melody, like of our characters. Oh my god, it was literally so cute, and it had me just so excited for everything. Getting to see everybody together in our costumes also just made it feel like very real and very exciting. These were very like complicated costumes, and I know in my case this was one of the most complicated things that I had ever sewn. Absolutely gorgeous, and getting to see them in person was just so cool. It really felt like something from TV had kind of like come to life. In case it's not obvious, I'm like such a fangirl of this. So we all got dressed up and we headed out for our first photo shoot on the beach. Now the thing about the Pacific Northwest, especially in the spring, is our weather can be a bit temperamental, which unfortunately would become the theme of the weekend. So while it wasn't raining out, it was really classic Pacific Northwest, overcast and windy. And boy, if you've ever wanted to feel like a sail, I simply recommend wearing a long like ball gown-esque dress on a beach on a windy day. And I foolishly, because I was wearing tights, I was like, I don't need shorts. I needed shorts. I was flashing everyone. I don't think there was anyone else on the beach that day, other than like our crew. That combined with wearing heels in the sand led to it being a kind of interesting posing experience. I had like practiced some of the poses in my apartment, but I wasn't really considering the wind and sand when I was doing that. Thankfully, we did have like a really awesome team of photographers and helpers there who were supporting us with like making sure our hair and our outfits looked good and we were like posing well. But I won't lie, it was definitely challenging in its own ways. Posing can be really hard. This was also the point where I did start finding some of the flaws in my costume. So Ellie was planning to make a really cool video, which is actually up now and you should absolutely check it out. But for some of the shots in it, she rented a drone, which like, first of all, so cool. It was my first time ever being filmed with a drone, I think, unless I don't know. Who's out there? But she really wanted to get this shot of us like walking together down the beach, and in concept was very adorable, except every time I would walk down, this part of my glove would just start like rolling down my arm because it's heavy. These ruffles and these beads are heavy, and so I would have to like try and gracefully pull it back up, like not ruining our shot, but it just kept happening. So yeah, these gloves do kind of like break some rules of gravity. What I ended up having to do was just like sew elastic through these ruffles at the top to hold it in place. I'm gonna start, yeah, you can kind of see I get like a literal mark around my arm because they have to be like tight to stay up. So that was a great learning experience. I would say a lot of the first day was just like figuring out how to wear the costumes well and try and look good in it. You know, we're all about learning here. So we did a number of different group shots as well as some solo shots, but then we eventually did just like have to give up to the wind. It was really cold outside, so we did head back inside and had a really delightful and chill evening. I don't have any other, I think, vlog footage from this evening, but let me just say it was a really fun time hanging out with a bunch of other people who have like obviously really similar interests and are just like excited to be there, and basically we're on this like fun little vacation together, like cosplay vacation. Like, to be fair, it was a very busy weekend and we did a lot of stuff and it wasn't exactly relaxing. but it was fun. I also did end up being one of the first people to go to bed because, like, to be real, I definitely keep old lady hours in life usually, but I was also just super excited for Saturday. Now, the leaders of this photo shoot put together a super in-depth photo shoot schedule. This was a full spreadsheet that laid out like who was shooting what, in what outfit, and where, and what photographer was with them. Like, it was all so well planned. They also had created documents with like planned poses and stuff. It was just really, really nicely created to be so easy on everyone else that was involved in the photo shoot. And I thank them so much for their hard work and all the hard work that went into that, because like, oh my god. So in reality, I didn't really have any business being awake and like gabbing during this first part of the photo shoot. I don't think my first shoot was until like 10 or 11, but I was just so excited to get to see my friend in cosplay and offer any support, which like honestly, nobody really needed my help, but I was like, I'm here. The vibes in the morning were also just like so fun. We were playing music from the show, they were getting some inside solo shots of some of the characters, and then the first group headed out to brave the weather. Now, in case it's not obvious, not all of the footage that I'm showing was actually taken by me. We again had a really wonderful group of people who were taking photos and video, and thankfully they were willing to share some of it with the rest of us. So while I was getting into my costume for the day, this trio was out taking their photos and videos, and just look at them, look how cute they are. I didn't see some of this footage until looking through and editing for this video and writing my script, and I was like, oh my god, they're so cute! And then again, they had the drone out, which was just so cool. I really hope I can do some stuff with the drone again in the future, because it is just such a cool thing. You might have noticed on these shots, and while I have color corrected the heck out of them to make them look very beautiful, the weather wasn't really on our side. It was unfortunately sprinkling on and off, so we did end up spending the most of the morning getting a lot of solo shots inside or doing what we could inside, and like occasionally hopping outside to like feel what the weather felt like and if it was still raining. Thankfully, we did have these nice big windows to shoot with, but I do know that a lot of the original plan was leaning on being able to go outside to shoot. So that did lead to a lot of the schedule just getting completely changed, and a lot of improvisation took place in order to get all of the shots that we wanted. Again, working around the consistent on again, off again rain that was going on. I of course pulled a classic me move of being ready way earlier than I needed to be, so I did spend a lot of the morning just like chilling out and watching and like helping when I could, but we had so many other people there to help and support that I really just got to like hang out in the van and take some selfie videos, because again, I think I look so cute in this outfit, and I love green on me. I love wearing this much green, so I was creating content of me. So while we had like some cosplayers that were actually going out and like braving the weather and the wind and looking very cool, I was just inside like... A lot of the shots we were taking in the morning as well were for the CMV that Ellie made. So again, if you haven't checked it out already, you absolutely should. It's very cute. Something I've realized is it felt very weird for me to have dedicated photo and like video time. I think I'm so used to either being like A, behind the camera, B, at a convention where it's like super quick, or C, being in like a big group for cosplays, that just posing by myself felt really weird, and I kept feeling really vain, being like caring a lot about how I looked, but that's also kind of the point. And I worked very hard on this cosplay, so getting to have some nice photos in it was just like really cool. And on that note as well, it is so strange to have so much footage of myself at this event. Again, I'm so used to like sticking my camera in other people's faces and recording them that seeing myself, I'm like, someone did also manage to capture the perfect footage of me, which fully describes how I feel like 50% of the time. I'm either like zipping around and being like, oh, can I help? And doing this and doing that. Or I am asleep. I'm at 100% or I'm at 0%. And again, we did have a good amount of downtime in the morning just because we were doing all of the shoots, basically one at a time because we couldn't go outside. Then as the afternoon approached, we had some other people come and meet up with us as the house. They were dressed as villains as well as some side characters. And after taking some smaller group photos inside, we attempted once again to brave the outside, which was perhaps a bold choice. I love that in like a lot of the footage I have from this, I just see myself get progressively more wet and also look kind of more confused as it slowly sets in for me that I was supposed to be lip syncing for this shot, and my brain just took forever to process that information. Like everyone else is singing and I'm there like, so while an attempt was made, it was raining and we weren't feeling like super great about being outside. So we ended up rushing back inside, taking a bit of a break, getting cleaned up, blow drying our wigs, and then we took the group photos. This is without a doubt probably like my favorite part of this event, just getting to see the rainbow of amazing costumes all together was so cool, and then getting to be a part of that. Everything about these costumes were just so wonderfully detailed and created with a lot of intent to match. So while I did make my costume, I had a lot of help from our different like team members to do it. Different people created guides for things like how we should make the bows, how we should make our ruffles, our neckline. I think Ellie had even laid out like, oh Mary, for your bodice use this pattern, and for your skirt, you know, try and do this. It made it so, first of all, easy for me to make this costume, which I was very intimidated by, but also made it so everything just fit so well together because it was really intentionally designed. They also had gone through and made a spreadsheet, again, amazing spreadsheets, of all of the fabric that we should use. So each of the fabrics that are used on this costume were specifically chosen, and they would like give us a link for like, oh, this arm ruffle and this neck, this will be this fabric from this website, go buy it. Which is so nice, because I think honestly one of the hardest parts of making a costume sometimes are making those choices about like fabric color. And there was only one thing that I ended up having to kind of adjust or change, and that was just my waistband. I had to dye slightly darker just because sometimes you know colors don't turn out exactly like you want them to. But again, it was just so cool to be a part of a project that was just so meticulously planned, and again made it really easy on me while still having the like challenge of sewing it, which I loved. So it was just so cool because then like all of our bows match and stuff. Like, that's amazing. Let me just say. Most of our afternoon was spent doing these group photos and basically like being goofs and having a lot of fun and like singing some Taylor Swift occasionally. So then as that winded down, we got some like final detail photos and footage. We were reaching the evening, and then I'm on the floor. Sometimes it's just floor time. The darkened elf, or our Lucia, and one of our kind of like leaders of this event, has a really amazing collection of yukata, and so she put together a coordinate for each of our characters, which was so sweet for her to do. The last time that I wore a yukata was for my like sophomore year Japanese class in high school, so I was pretty excited to get to wear one again. As we watched episodes of Mermaid Melody, we were guided on how to put on the yukata and got to take some pretty adorable group photos of all of us kind of like we're going to a festival. And is this like super weeby of me? Yes, but there was something very sweet and heartwarming about getting to do something basically my childhood self always would have wanted to do, which is like dress up in a big group in yukata and, you know, go to a festival. We didn't go to a festival, but you know, one day a girl can dream. And so of course I also just felt like I looked really cool and I had to take a lot of photos and videos of myself. And we spent the rest of the evening taking some photos, eating dinner, and one by one heading off for bed for what would be a very exciting Sunday morning. Because of our issues with the weather, our photo shoot in our Mermaid Tails, yes, Mermaid Tails, got super pushed back to first thing on Sunday morning. Initially, I think these photo shoots were supposed to kind of just take place over the day on Saturday, and of course that didn't happen. Now, our Airbnb checkout time was at, I think, like 10 or 11 a.m., so we all crawled out of bed early in the morning to don our shell cups and tails and get some photos in costume. While it was chilly out, it wasn't raining, so we were able to head out and get some photos done. Now, you might notice in this footage that I am wearing a different wig. So I had this really weird issue with Rena where I could not find like the right wig. Green wigs, just in general, aren't the most popular thing. It's just not like the most common color for a wig. Her hair color also kind of like changes depending on the lighting and the context, so I just had the hardest time finding like the perfect wig. I think I ended up buying 4 different wigs for this, and then even for the photo shoot, I was so in between the 2 wigs that I ended up wearing this darker green one for kind of our pop idol looks. Ta-da! And then the brighter green one for the like mermaid tail mermaid looks. And I still honestly don't feel 100% about my choice, but it was just a mid, and sometimes we just gotta roll with it. We all headed out to the beach and put on our mermaid tails. Now, I've worn these tails before. It's a swimmable mermaid tail that are made of like a swimsuit material and have a fin in them that you can use to swim in. I won one in high school. This is some like old Mary YouTube lore. I had an unboxing video for the longest time up on my channel of it. So like I've put one on before, but wearing all of my cosplay stuff and being on a freezing cold beach and like putting on while sitting was so weirdly hard. I ended up punching myself in the eye. I genuinely was afraid I had like damaged my eye because I was like pulling on the elastic and my grip on my hand broke and oh my god, it hurt so bad. But I was fine, thank God. Thank God I did not give myself a black eye in cosplay. That would have been so inconvenient. So this did all go by pretty quickly. Again, it was very cold out, so we got some cool drone shots as well as group photos. I think I got like 1 or 2 solo photos and I was like, I'm done, I'm good. I'm done, I'm good, I'm cold. I'm so sensitive. I'm just a sensitive lady. So I pretty quickly hobbled out of things and just like got footage of everybody else looking ridiculous as mermaids, and then went back in, warmed up, packed up, and headed home. Like that was the entire weekend. It was such a whirlwind experience, but also such a fun time, and I'm so glad that I got to be a part of it. So here are some of my final notes and some of the like challenges and stuff about it. So obviously, now that I've made the costume, as with every costume, there are things that I would change. First of all, no one knows this but me, I think. Well, maybe other people do. I'm sure other people have noticed this. These ruffles aren't the right size. Ellie did such a good job of being like, this is specifically how you do this, and I managed to read specific instructions and be like, yeah, I'm gonna misunderstand what you wrote. Like, they're very clear, and I'm like, no. So I made them a tiny bit too long. There are also things with, like, the neckline of this dress that I would change, but the hair covers it. It covers it, so you can't... My secrets. The other kind of thing that was a challenge for me, that is something that I'll be honest about. We can have honesty hour here, in case it's not obvious. I'm not skinny. I try and be pretty conscious about how I discuss things relating to this online, because in some ways it's uncomfortable for me and it can be like uncomfortable for other people. But to just put it simply, I struggle with my body image, and in cosplay, that can be really hard to deal with. Like, I will not lie, I spent a fair amount of time leading up to this costume and this cosplay event being like, I should drop out because I don't look good, which is really frustrating because like I had so much fun and I really enjoyed it and I'm really happy with the costume that I made, but sometimes our brains are just so hard on ourselves that it makes it so we want to like bail out on things that we would enjoy. This was also especially extra challenging because not only was I doing this cosplay, but also of course the Mermaid Tail cosplays, which show just frankly like a lot more skin than I ever usually show, especially online or in photos or anything. It was really challenging for me to get myself to just, you know, be like, fuck it, we're gonna do this and we're gonna have fun, and I'm not gonna let the little miserable bugs in my brain that give me a hard time about this take away this joy from my life. I'm just really proud of myself that I was able to commit to and frankly do something that I found really uncomfortable. Like, I'm not gonna lie, there's still parts of my brain that look at footage of me in the mermaid outfit and go like, ah, but I don't want those parts of my brain to get to make the decisions. So overall, I would just say that I'm like pretty proud of myself for not letting myself ruin my own fun, essentially. This also might seem odd just because like I do make content of myself and videos of myself, so it doesn't seem always to make the most sense to some people when I say like I'm insecure about my looks, because they're like, don't you do this? Like, aren't you fine with that? I do this all like as an active way to not let the bad parts of my brain win. So I'm proud of myself. I'm gonna count this as a W for Mary. This was one of the most complicated costumes I've ever made for myself, so I'm really proud of that. It looks really cool, and I love getting to wear it. So if you haven't already seen it, Ellie has put together her own vlog about her experience, basically like helping to run and make this all happen. So if you want to hear about things from like organized leader perspective, absolutely check out that video, as well as the CMV that she created, because again, it is adorable. Also want to give just another shout out to the wonderful people that helped plan and make this all happen, the photographers who took photos and video, our helpers who helped make sure that like everything happened, fellow cosplayers who looked amazing, and everyone else that was involved. Be sure to check out the description. I will have links to everyone, and you should follow them all. Very scary. I'm super hopeful I can do something like this again in the future. It was such a cool experience. I had such a fun time, and I hope you all had a fun time coming on this adventure with me. I also want to say these like microphones, the actual toy versions, are so rare that having a 3D printed version, I feel so cool. Ignore my little strings also. I need to cut those. So fun fact, I'm doing a photo shoot in this again this weekend, so probably like the days before you see this video, I'll have done another photo shoot in this cosplay and have more photos. Slay! Thank you all so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like. Check out my cosplay playlist for other cosplay related content and con related content that I have made. I hope you all are doing well, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye!